Thank you, Darren. Yes, an old school English fixture in the sort of crash, bash, brash world of the Premier League that we now live in. As Darren said right at the top of the show, the 203rd top flight meeting between these two great clubs, the most played fixture in the history of the English top flight. The first one was back on September the 22nd in 1888, but recent fixtures have certainly gone Everton's way. Villa have only one win in their last games, 11 games against Everton, and that was at Villa Park here under Tim Sherwood back in May 2015. But this is a new season. Everton with a chance to go top of the Premier League table tonight if they can win this game and make it 3 wins out of 3. Aston Villa looking for their first points of the season, and a slight injury concern in the warm-up over Tyrone Mings. Jack Grealish is just coming forward to the centre circle here and getting ready to perform the captain's duties with Seamus Coleman of Everton, who on his way is going to high-five every single one of his teammates. One very minor side issue, Karen, in this game that I've spotted actually. This is the first time that Neil Taylor, Aston Villa's left-back, and Seamus Coleman of Everton are on the same pitch since a very unfortunate incident back in March 2017 in international football, when Neil Taylor, with a bad tackle, not a deliberately bad tackle, but a bad tackle, broke Seamus Coleman's leg. So, you know, and they are up against each other tonight as well. You know, they will be running at each other, so hopefully that will all pass off without incident. Team news then is this: 2 changes for Aston Villa. Debut for Frédéric Guilbert at right back. Frenchman signed from Caen back in January. He went back to Caen on loan to complete the rest of the season. Caen went down, and now he's here at Aston Villa. Debut at right back tonight. And Hotter of Birmingham, who was one of the many summer signings, gets his first start for the Villa in for Anwar El Ghazi. Tom Heaton in goal, Guilbert at right back, Neil Taylor at left back, Bjorn Engels the Belgian alongside Tyrone Mings, Douglas Luiz the Brazilian alongside John McGinn and Jack Grealish, both in Darren and Jermaine's fantasy football team, so I'm obviously hoping for stinkers from the pair of them. Hotter, Trezeguet in support of the Brazilian centre-forward, the club record signing Wesley. We are underway, and the clubs, as you probably wish, the 2 teams tonight in their familiar kits. Everton all blue, white numbers on their backs, and Aston Villa in the claret and blue, launching an early long ball down the right-hand side, headed out of play by Luca Dean for a throw-in to Aston Villa. Everton have Pickford in goal, Seamus Coleman at right back, Dean at left back, Michael Keane and Yerry Mina the 2 centre-backs, Morgan Schneiderlin and Andre Gomez in midfield ahead of them, Richarlison and Bernard, the wide men, Gylfi Sigurdsson in the number 10 role, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the ball early on, sloppy from Villa, they've let him get it, he's running hard towards the edge of the box, Douglas Luiz gives him a little nudge, plays the pass to Richarlison, tried to find him with the 1-2, Villa clear, and it's an early throw into Everton, but Villa gave that away, Karen. Again,
that's what we spoke about beforehand, that sloppy play, giving opportunities to opposition that has happened in the last 2 games to Villa, but luckily they weren't capitalised on in that moment.
BBC Radio 5 Live, former England international and Brummie girl Karen Carney with us this evening. Villa 0, Everton 0, the first of 4 Premier League commentaries for you on 5 Live this weekend. Seamus Coleman with a low cut back into the Aston Villa penalty area. Sliding challenge here on Trezeguet, the Egyptian, as he tried to dance away down the left-hand side inside his own half. And Aston Villa have the throw. Neil Taylor holds the ball above his head. Aston Villa playing from right to left as we look at it from our commentary position in this first half. And we were just talking about Villa Park as a ground. That is just, the Holt End is just an enormous, towering, 2-tiered chasm of thousands and thousands of Villa fans. It's a magnificent sight.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it's one of the iconic grounds, and what the Villa players need to do tonight is get that roaring, get the fans behind them, give them something to cheering, be that 12th player for you today.
You can hear it already tonight. Here is John McGinn, little header to himself just short of the halfway line. Bjorn Engels, the Belgian, right-footed ball up the inside right channel. Everton have it back. Sigurdsson with a measured short pass to his left to Bernard. Support on the outside from Luca Dean. Dean will run at McGinn, gets his cross in, McGinn blocks it, and Everton get their first corner of the evening. Villa 0, Everton 0.
Straight away you see Dean and Bernard, they've got such a good little combination between them. They're like quite telepathic in how they play. Bernard's very nippy and likes to get into pockets, and Dean just overlaps him. They're a good little partnership, them pair.
Yerry Mina and Michael Keane, the two centre-backs, the big men, slowly talking and chatting, making their way to the edge of the box. Dean's corner into the near post, headed away by Trezeguet, curled back in high towards the far post. Tom Heaton opts for a two-fisted punch, thumps the ball away. Douglas Luiz gets a touch, and there's a player down. Is that Tyrone Mings is down in the 6-yard box, having leapt for the header at the back post. Tom Heaton's worried here. He's a little bit worried because Mings is looking groggy, and very quickly there, Karen, he was waving the medical staff onto the field. It looks like Mings has been sandwiched really in that challenge.
Well, actually Heaton's having a bit of a go at him as well, because he was left 2v1 at the back post there. You know, Calvert-Lewin and I can't think who else it was there back there. It was 2v1 against Mings, and Heaton's coming out going, you can't be left 2v1 in a crossing position. Thankfully Heaton come out and got rid of it, but he's 2v1 as a defender. You've got to sort that out. I think that's why Heaton's more mad, more so than worrying about his teammate's head injury.
Tyrone Mings in the wars, so keeping an eye out for a possible groin problem, taking a whack on the head early in the game. He's waved back onto the field, and with his left foot just strokes a pass into the Everton half. Wesley is a big, powerful centre forward, and he uses that strength to good effect. He's lost it to Richarlison though. Bernard just knocks the ball past Gilbert here. Gilbert had no option but to bring him down because Bernard was getting away, and so 4 minutes into his debut, Frederick Gilbert is on a yellow card. So now if you're Everton, Karen, you're thinking, well, we'll run at Mings and we'll run at the right back as well.
Well, yeah, now he can't do anything in terms of defending. You're always cautious now you're on that yellow card, and so early in the game as well. It's a cynical foul. He had to do it because otherwise they were on a break, and Bernard was really going for it, and Dean was overlapping as well, so he needed to do it, but so cynical so early.
Yerry Mina playing the ball to his left, and Luca Dean. Jordan Pickford just talking, I think for talking's sake, likes to keep involved, almost talking to himself there, all in green. But the players down the other end of the field. Seamus Coleman with a little cushioned layoff to Richarlison. Richarlison gets the back heel from Sigurdsson into the penalty area, goes down. Jack Grealish made the challenge. Grealish immediately says to Richarlison, get to your feet. No penalty. Richarlison looks over to the assistant referee and says, why haven't you given me anything? And obviously an incident like that, Karen, will be looked at back at Stockley Park. Our VAR this evening is Christopher Kavanagh, and if he feels there's anything that Michael Oliver's missed there, he will bring his attention to it. We'll get another look at it on the replay screen now. What are you thinking? I'm
thinking that's a penalty.
Really?
Yeah, Jack Grealish, for me, it hasn't been given, but for me Jack Grealish was on the wrong side of Richarlison, so he's got there first, but they've obviously looked at VAR and it hasn't been given. But again, that right side, Sigurdsson and Richarlison looking very sharp in the early stages, but for me, I would be thinking that's a penalty, but it's heating up now though for sure, with tackles and stuff. Yeah,
Jack Grealish has gone down, picked himself up. Villa have worked it to the left-hand side. Trezeguet controls it well, pokes a little ball into the penalty area, cleared, long. Header from Calvert-Lewin, drops on the halfway line, and Bjorn Engels is able to control it for Aston Villa, plays it to his right. Gilbert lofts a high one for McGinn to chase. He'll do well to keep it in. He's hooked his cross back high to the edge of the box. Wesley just gets a little hand in the back from Michael Keane. Everton are struggling to clear here. Sigurdsson gets onto the ball 10 yards outside his penalty area, plays it to Dean. Dean goes long with his left foot. Calvert-Lewin will chase, and he will keep this in as well, but he's pretty much on his own. Richarlison is slowly getting there in the middle. Calvert-Lewin lays it back here, and Everton will start to rebuild. So lively start to the game. Jack Grealish with the challenge on Richarlison. Everton wanted the penalty, they didn't get it. One thing I've definitely noticed in the opening weeks of the Premier League season with VAR now in place is they do seem to be loath actually to change the on-field decision if they don't have to. I know those words clear and obvious have to be there. It has to be a clear and obvious error by Michael Oliver not to have spotted it, but the VARs do seem to be backing the on-field decisions. Bernard on the left, cross deflected. Grealish, little side foot pass here. Aston Villa playing out from the back. Wesley's beaten to it by Michael Keane. Keane forward to Richarlison, just inside the Villa half, back to Keane again. And Everton, of course, Karen Carney, yet to concede a goal this season in the two games they've played.
No, and they look very defensively sound. The setup's very, very organised. Like we said, Keane earlier, for me, Keane's been the standout player, and actually Pickford as well. He's kept them in. You know, at Watford, he kept them in the game at times with that Troy Deeney chance. But going back to the penalty decision, I spoke earlier about the position of Jack Grealish. For me, I don't want Jack Grealish anywhere near the defensive half.
Yerry Mina's ball forward. Sigurdsson can't quite control, and then Mings hoists the clearance away while his centre-back partner Engels was diving in to try and head it, and Mings has caught Engels in the face with his boot. So centre-backs taking lumps out of each other, and poor old Dean Smith is probably slightly concerned on the sidelines. Let's just have a little look at this. Engels was trying to nod it back to the keeper. Mings didn't see him coming, and he smashed him in the face. Thanks very much, teammate.
It doesn't look good, to be fair. Mings has kicked him right in the face, and it's not nice, that, and you have to be careful of concussions. Anything these days, you have to be, the players' health is a priority. And but again, it's Heaton, Mings and Engels don't look comfortable in terms of their communication, their organisation. They do look a bit.
Do you think as well, Karen, that when a player picks up a slight niggle in the warm-up, that goes into other players' minds? So Heaton and Engels are thinking a little bit, well, we might have to cover for, and it just spreads a little bit of uncertainty. Well,
that's what I spoke about. It's more of a mental thing now, that you're aware, like you said, you're playing next year, he might be struggling, or even for Mings himself, he knows he's not 100%, or Heaton's not confident in his ability to get out there and defend, so he overcompensates. Exactly what you said. It puts a bit of a mental kind of, not block, but it affects the team mentally, the back line, and you've got to have such confidence in your back line, and you have to trust each other, and if there's a slight bit of doubt, it is worrying. But going back to the Grealish point I said earlier, I don't want Jack Grealish anywhere near the defensive quarter of Aston Villa, because his strength is further up the pitch, and that's why he shouldn't be there, because he could have given away a penalty.
I'm just trying to do a bit of lip reading here. Bjorn Engels is on his feet. You are not missing any football. Karen Carney is with us here at Villa Park this evening. We have played 9.5 minutes on a glorious summer's evening. Villa 0, Everton 0. Engels has taken a whack in the face. He was on his back for a minute or so. Two of the medical staff with him, just supporting his neck, making sure he was okay. And I think what the physio was saying to the ref there is he is going to be okay. They will have run that concussion test, and I think he will come back on. So he's getting applauded to the side of the field. I'll remind you as well, close of play on day 2, only day 2 of this test match at Headingley. Australia in their second innings, 171 for 6, a lead of 283 after England were bowled out for a paltry 67. As Darren was saying, England's batting coach Graham Thorpe you will hear from at half-time in this game, but Australia closing in on retaining the Ashes. Ball-by-ball commentary again tomorrow from 10 o'clock on 5 Live Sports Extra, and this weekend BBC Radio 5 Live in the BBC Sounds app as Richarlison shoots, and that's deflected and it bounces away for an Everton corner. Is the only place where you can listen to live Premier League football and get that ball-by-ball commentary of the Ashes. But if Australia win the test, they're 2-0 up. They are the holders of the Ashes. Even if England won the last 2 tests, it would finish 2-2 and Australia would retain that precious little urn. 10 minutes played. Villa 0, Everton 0. Sigurdsson taking deep breaths before taking this corner, floats it deep to the edge of the area. Dean hits the volley well, drops loose in the penalty area. Keane shoots, fabulous block on the Keane effort, because he thought he'd scored and an offside flag was up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted, Karen. But Dean hit the first volley well, and that was a cracking block on Keane's effort. It's
a well-worked corner. They knew about that. They pushed everyone into the box, and Sigurdsson just pulled it to Dean, who was unmarked on the edge of the 18-yard, and he's hit it on the volley, and Mings blocked it.
Twice.
But Richarlison was in an offside position, but they've obviously seen a weakness in Villa, that they put everyone on the line and someone on the edge of the box can get a free shot off, and that's what's happened. But Mings was in the right place, right time.
Trezeguet chasing hard down the left-hand side. That ball is too close to Jordan Pickford. He's had nothing to do so far, the England number 1. And he rolls the ball out slowly to Yerry Mina, as is the case at Villa Park. The away fans, the Everton fans, are kind of opposite us, so they're sitting in the Doug Ellis stand in the right-hand corner of that, down next to the North Stand. There is applause at the moment going round the ground. This has been organised by the Everton fans. I saw a message go out on social media this afternoon. The young Reece Jones, Everton fan who was tragically killed 12 years ago today. That is being marked in the 12th minute of this game, and the Aston Villa fans are all joining in as well. So that's why we have applause ringing around Villa Park at the moment. Villa 0, Everton 0. Everton have the ball inside their own half. Keane with a long diagonal ball for Richarlison to chase, and for a second there he thought he was going to get there. He couldn't, and then drops to both knees and slides on this glistening top surface and lets the ball run behind for the goal kick. So would you say, Karen, do you think that Everton will be happier with the opening sort of minutes of this game so far? Marco Silva, they're happier?
Well, they've had the possession, but it hasn't really been linked to anything just yet. Heaton hasn't had much to do. But, you know, equally Villa are riding a little bit of a storm at the moment. They're still in the game and haven't made mistakes that have cost them in the other two games. So I think overall Marco Silva will be more happy because of the more possession, but it hasn't really troubled Aston Villa just yet.
Seamus Coleman with the throw for Everton, just about level with the edge of the Villa box. Loose pass back to him from Richarlison. He couldn't control it, and so the ball is out for an Aston Villa throw. Neil Taylor holds the ball above his head. 5 Live Sport tomorrow, on air from 12 o'clock. Our 3 o'clock commentary in the Premier League comes from Old Trafford. Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle bringing you Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Hotter beaten to the ball here by Andre Gomez, fouls Gomez, and that is a free kick for Everton. You'll appreciate this one, Karen. I saw in the notes that Hotter is the first player in the men's game to make the direct move from Birmingham City to Aston Villa. Not an easy move to make, since Alan Kirbishley did it back in 1983.
It's a bold move for sure. You know, you've got to be a big person to do that.
Coleman playing the ball back to Keane. Nice stuff from Everton. They're looking very confident inside their own half, happy to play out from the back, just pinging first time balls to each other. Pickford plays to his left and finds Mina. Andre Gomez curls a little pass around the corner to Dean. Dean plays the 1-2 here with Schneidlin. Dean picks up the pace onto Calvert-Lewin on the left hand side. Support from Bernard, wide left, dummies the cross onto his right foot, curls the ball to the far post. It's over Richarlison's head and it's behind for the goal kick. What a lovely pitch length move that was. Started
from Pickford, from one 18-yard box all the way to the other 18-yard box and leading into a cross and an opportunity for Richarlison. It was just, the cross from Bernard was just a bit too wide, a bit too deep, and Richarlison just couldn't get in there and get his head on it. But again, like you said, build up from one 18-yard box to another. It's total football, and Villa couldn't really get anywhere near them, but they're holding on. I'd like to see Villa get a bit more rhythm. I think they've been a little bit too direct at the moment, going back to front. Need to get Grealish involved in the game. McGuinn, need to get him popping and playing and getting the ball down.
That's what he's trying to do at the moment. He's hassled off the ball by Bernard, and now he's got to chase Gomez. Grealish helps him out, makes the tackle, and the ball's out for an Everton throw on the right. Reminder again, if Everton win the game, it'll be 3 wins out of 3 at the start of this Premier League season. That's not quite right, is it? Because they drew at Crystal Palace on the opening day, and I can see Karen shaking her head saying, what on earth are you talking about? But they did win their second game, and if they win tonight, they go top of the table.
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you, Karen.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
My coffee's kept me awake. So.
Yeah, and you also probably put the point more kindly to me than a certain Chris Sutton would have done as well. There would have been an evil cackle, and you're better than that, Bruce. I'll be with Chris tomorrow taking the calls on 6:06, Manchester United Palace at 3 o'clock, sports report from 5 till 6, and then Chris and I taking the calls from 6. 5 Live's Premier League Sunday double header, Bournemouth Manchester City at 2, and then full commentary on Tottenham Newcastle at 4:30. Villa have the ball outside their own penalty area with Tyrone Mings, and as Karen was just saying, has decided to go long down the left. Trezeguet challenged by Coleman. Trezeguet felt the touch came off the Everton man. He doesn't get the decision. I think he was just trying to bluff the assistant referee there, and so Everton get the throw. But that was an example, was it, Karen, of what you were talking about, just hitting that sort of hopeful long one down the line?
He's looking for areas, and obviously if you're going to go long, you want to put it onto Wesley because he's so good, he's such a handful. But they're two very different teams. You know, Villa quite direct, they want to get numbers forward and play first and second balls, as Everton want to play a little bit more, and it's irrelevant at the moment because neither team have really tested the keepers, so they're nullifying each other, even though the styles are very, very different.
Aston Villa have it then. There was a handball by Richarlison. So Villa have taken the free kick inside their own half. Everton pressing high. Bernard closes down Gilbert, who's on that yellow card, don't forget, for Villa. Now Tyrone Mings has got space to run forward up to the halfway line. Then he hoists the long diagonal to the right. Easy header away for Dean, looking for Bernard. He can't keep the ball in. Throw into Villa on the right.
That's why I get frustrated, because I see Mings' good quality. The direct balls are good, they're challenging, but I'd rather him play.
Douglas Luiz now looking for Trezeguet over the top, headed away by Coleman. Wesley might get onto that. No, he's beaten to it by Schneiderlin. Everton are giving the ball away. Here's Hotter, his first chance to dribble. Little left-footed threaded pass towards McGinn. Nice first touch, bumped into by Andre Gomez, didn't knock him over. Play continues, cross in, and Wesley with the header, misdirected. He was offside anyway. Might have come off his shoulder in the end. It was well off target, but it'll be a free kick to Everton.
It's much better by Villa. They're trying to get combinations around the 18-yard box, little passes, McGinn out to the full-back, trying to get the ball then into Wesley in a better area instead of going from back to front very quickly. At least they're trying to get a few passes and getting their ball players involved in the build-up phase.
Coleman back to Michael Keane in the right-back position for Everton. Low pass up towards Sigurdsson. Rolls his man and finds Richarlison. Back to Sigurdsson. This looks promising for Everton. Coleman trying to keep up with Sigurdsson. Doesn't need him. To the corner of the area. Into the box he goes. Low ball towards that far post is blocked. Otter misses his header. So Gomez behind him is able to collect. Plays the ball out to Dean. Dean chips across into the box. Engels is able to run towards it. Nod it down to Hotter. Taking his time on the dribble. Lovely bit of skill. Villa fans were worried for a second there, but they needn't have been. Then he strokes his pass to the left-hand side, and Wesley's over here on the left wing. Starts to run hard. Not too much support for him here. Richarlison is back at him. So that's Brazilian on Brazilian. Wesley turns back and finds Grealish, who again possibly a little bit deep here. As ever, hair slicked back, shortly shorn on both sides. Socks rolled down. Number 10 on his back for Aston Villa, who've come all the way back to Mings and Engels, the centre-backs. Villa fans urging him to get the ball forward. He's done that, but an offside flag goes up against Gilbert, so that'll be a free kick to Everton. 0-0.
But again, it's much better. They're not going direct. They're trying to play through, getting Grealish involved, getting Hotter involved, Wesley, all taking their time on the ball and not rushing it, and actually going, you know what, we can play, we've got time, we can build connections together. And that's where Villa are at their best, I think, instead of going from back to front far too quickly, and that plays into Everton's hands.
Former England international Karen Carney here on 5 Live Sport tonight. Sky's got a lovely sort of tinge of red to them with a little bit of midnight blue as we're heading towards evening time. 20 minutes played, first half. Andre Gomez for Everton towards Bernard. Loose first touch. Villa have it back. Grealish thought about going straight up to Wesley. Knocked off his feet by Gomez. Picks himself up. Wants to go quickly. That was clever from Grealish. And Gilbert was alert there as well. Gets onto the free kick. Continues his run down the right. What's Hotter going to do? He's going to look for Wesley. Onside! Oh, and he's buried it! For his first goal for Aston Villa. Beautifully worked from the quick free kick. And Wesley is absolutely loving that in front of the jubilant fans. Tucks it past Pickford. It's Villa 1, Everton 0. It's the first goal Everton have conceded this season, and Michael Oliver, of course, will check with VAR to see if the goal is going to stand. But the Villa players are celebrating, and Douglas Luiz and Wesley have their own little dance.
And that was from Jack Grealish's quick free kick. His hands on. Everton weren't set, weren't ready, still arguing over a free kick. Gilbert, that's why he's in the team today. He's a bombing fullback, gets involved, plays it to Hotter, and Hotter, this is why he's in the team. He's so clever, comes inside, waiting. That pass into Wesley was just on point.
Now,
and Wesley finished it with a superb little...
Lovely finish across Pickford into the bottom corner. Michael Oliver is still waiting. Goal scorer is being announced. That was Wesley. On the big screen, we've only had replays of the goal. We've had nothing saying VAR is checking it, but they will check every goal, and the game kicks off. Michael Oliver's had the word, it was A-OK. Wesley has his first goal for Aston Villa, and having made that terrible start against Bournemouth last Saturday, they've actually sort of ridden the storm in the first 15 minutes here and now got that crucial goal, Karen.
Yeah, and Grealish was so keen that he thought, you know what, Everton are not set up. We know that Everton are good defensively, but we get them when they're not in shape, and he won the free kick, hand on, play, and both that right-hand side just went, we're going to go for it. Gilbert, that's why he's in the team, because he's a bombing, modern-day fullback. Gets in, hotter, like a cheeky little 10, cuts in, finds a striker, Wesley, and he gets his first goal, and it was a superb finish. Well,
when you're a big number 9, you're the club record signing, you've been brought to score the goals. That's a massive moment for Wesley, and he took it well. He took it really well. He had a small spot to aim for across Jordan Pickford, and he found it perfectly. Good goal. Villa 1, Everton 0. Livening up at Villa Park. Challenge on McGinn. Foul on McGinn inside the Villa half. Everton getting a little rattled. Villa take their free kick, and they get the ball back to Tom Heaton, and Heaton launches it long down the middle of the pitch up towards Wesley, chests it down, Schneiderlin with a header, Keane in, volleys the ball away, little header down from Calvert-Lewin, cleared by Villa, poor header away from Mina, Wesley's through again, he's away from Mina, the angle's tight again, Mina blocks, and Wesley is forced out to the right to go and get the rebound. Support from Hotter to Wesley, this time he is offside, he goes bursting through, he shoots, he hits the post. Second good chance for him in the game though, Karen.
Again, Hotter coming in off the wide into like a false kind of 10 position in his little pockets, and his first look is always to Wesley, and Wesley's always trying to get in on the back shoulder, and he got in behind Mina really easily for my opinion, but fair play to Mina, he got back and defended, but Wesley now just on confidence. You just need to keep feeding him the ball, give him the ball, because he wants it now, he's loving it.
Villa are buzzing and Villa Park is buzzing. Villa 1, Everton 0. Sigurdsson towards Richarlison. Bernard starts a run to the left. Mings comes powering across the pitch, barges Richarlison over while winning the ball cleanly. Fantastic tackle. And here come Villa sweeping forward. Grealish playing the 1-2 with Hotter. Gilbert's got to get back on side. Grealish goes on his own down the right. Turns on his heel, finds Hotter into the penalty area. 2 to aim at the back of the box here. McGinn is lurking at the far post. Low ball in. Pickford dives down and grabs it with both hands. Pickford comes sprinting out to the edge of the box, and then with that sort of sidewinder volley, smashes the ball downfield. Engels heads it away. Hotter is there for Villa. Game's got a real pace to it now, Karen.
And it's all in Villa's momentum. They can sense it. The crowd are behind them. They've really got it now. Players are starting to get in their groove. Hotter, the last 5-10 minutes, he's been unbelievable. He keeps coming in the pockets and threading that ball across, getting McGinn involved. Grealish again, higher up the pitch. Now they've really, the last 5-10 minutes, they've really turned the screw, Aston Villa, and Everton have got to ride this storm now. It's interesting.
20 minutes to play inside the first half. Mings going long down the left hand side has overhit that pass. Trezeguet was coming back towards him, straight over his head and out for the throw. The point you made though, Karen, about the quick free kick, I think absolutely spot on, because not only was Grealish alert to the possibility, but as soon as the free kick was awarded, Gilbert was off, wasn't he? And that's the thing, it needs to be the whole team alert to the possibility.
And that's perhaps why El Mohammadi isn't in the team, because he doesn't get that forward run in the same as Gilbert, and that's why he's in the team tonight, and he's taking his chance. Bernard
down the left to Dean. McGinn is back there for Villa with a tackle on his own byline, holds off Dean, knocks it into his shins. The ball deflects infield to Engels. Engels clears with his right foot. Gomez will intercept for Everton, and the ball comes squirting off the studs of his left boot and goes out for a throw-in to Aston Villa.
What was quite impressive about that with Aston Villa is they sniffed out that chance. They saw a vulnerability in Everton and they penetrated on it. That'd be key now. There's 10 minutes to go before half time or so. Will they get another chance and go, you know what, we're going to hurt Everton really in these little moments? And this is probably the next 5 minutes is really key, because if Everton are on the back foot, this is where you get them now and you kill off the game.
Well, let's not forget, it was a couple of clean sheets before this game, but Everton have only scored the 1 goal in the 2 games so far this season. Moise Keane, Alex Iwobi, Theo Walcott on the bench. Obviously Marco Silva won't be thinking about that just yet, but Villa have got themselves ahead. Can they defend the lead? They had a lead for a long time at Tottenham on the opening weekend. eventually undone by Ndombele's equaliser, and then Harry Kane with a late couple of goals. Wesley, good ball into the box. Trezeguet trying to knock Mina out of the way. Mina was strong, blocks it and clears with his right foot. Sigurdsson will chase. Engels is there, side foots a ball forward. Trezeguet with a little header away from Mina. Dean was in quickly for Everton, he had to be as well. Sigurdsson now just inside that Villa half, slightly scuffs the pass, so it slowed the move. Gomez collects, but it enabled Hotter to get back and put a challenge in. Everton still had the ball on the left hand side inside the Villa half. Villa leading 1-0. Wesley with his first goal for the club. Bernard on the turn. Douglas Luiz with the tackle. Ball is flicked into Douglas Luiz on the edge of the box. Everton appealing for handball. Michael Oliver saw it. Doesn't give the decision. Hotter is stopped in his tracks by Gomez. And now Sigurdsson in his blue boots over on the left. Feeds it to Schneiderlin. 40 yards out. Jack Grealish comes towards him. Schneiderlin turns away from him. Plays a little 1-2 with Sigurdsson. Back to Andre Gomez, across to Schneiderlin, to Gomez again. Aston Villa holding their shape nicely, and Everton have to come back into their own half. 28 minutes played in the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live, Karen Carney with us at Villa Park tonight. Villa leading 1-0. Coleman looking for the 1-2 with Richarlison, gets on the end of it, keeps the ball in play, really has to stretch to do that. No, he didn't. Flag is up, just crept over the byline, and it'll be a goal kick for Aston Villa, and they have another player down. Is that John McGinn on his haunches on the edge of the Aston Villa penalty area, just trying to recover himself, so a slight break in play. It's been a good first half so far. Karen, I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, I have as well, to be fair. Especially the last 10 minutes of it's definitely heated up rather. And I think where Villa have got their strength is Hotter, Grealish have played in the areas that's where their strengths are. They're so attacking minded. And I said about Hotter being in the pockets, it's that position in between the midfield and the defence where no one knows where to pick him up. And the same for Grealish. Nobody knows who to mark them, and they're getting in those little spaces, and it's caused Everton some issues. So that's what they need to keep doing, Aston Villa, and they need to keep playing more instead of going very back to front and direct. They need to get their ball players, their technical players involved in the game.
John McGinn's okay, back on his feet, just slowly marching his way to the touchline here, chatting to a couple of the Villa medical staff. Villa leading 1-0. By the way, with Hotter on the pitch, you are definitely allowed hotted up. I'm perfectly happy with that. There's
Thanks.
No problem with that at all. Tom Heaton will get the game back underway. Goal kick, which is planted right in the middle of his 6-yard box, not on either corner, right in the middle. And he's played it right down the middle of the pitch to the big man Wesley as well, the goal scorer tonight. Richarlison chests the ball down for Everton. Back to Seamus Coleman. Mings jumps with Calvert-Lewin. Ball spins sideways. Neil Taylor hooks it over his shoulder and knocks it out for a throw-in to Everton on the right-hand side. So 15 minutes remaining in this first half. More reaction to the second day's play from Headingley in the Ashes coming your way at half-time. We'll hear from England's batting coach Graham Thorpe, Jonathan Agnew and Michael Vaughan from the Test match special team as well. Australia leading by 283 after England bowled out for just 67 today in their first innings. Bernard laid back to Schneiderlin, who wants to get rid of this quickly. Curling ball into the penalty area, finds Coleman, little cross in, and the finish almost is from Calvert-Lewin. It's blocked on the line. A fantastic chance for the equaliser, and Villa haven't got it clear just yet because Gomez is on the ball on the edge of the box. Left-footed clips it forward. Douglas Luiz blocks this. Mina's in there. Mings jumps on the edge of the Villa area. Powerful header away, and Mina has to come all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Very nearly 1-1, Karen.
Well, it should have been 1-1. I'm not sure what happened with Taylor there, whether he switched off and the ball in behind him was played. And Everton were able to get the cross in, and Calvert-Lewin just literally, he just had to avoid the goalkeeper and just put it either side of Heaton, and it would have been 1-1. I think it was probably harder to hit the goalkeeper of the block than to hit the target, but you know, it was blocked on the line, but he should be scoring that. And that is that why he has 6 goals last season? You know, and is this the reason perhaps why Everton, will they get top 6? Because they need that striker that's going to put that in the back of the net.
8 yards from goal. He caught it sweetly. It was sort of a lob cross to him. He caught it on the half volley and he hit it well. But as you say, particularly had he gone for the sort of bottom left corner as he was looking at it, that just wasn't covered. He actually hit it straight at the keeper and a defender, and it was Bjorn Engels who made the block, and Michael Oliver should have played an advantage there because Wesley was fouled. McGinn got onto the knockdown, he was clean through, and Michael Oliver actually apologised there, Karen. He realised he'd made the mistake and put his hand up. Shame actually, because would have been interesting to see what McGinn could have done from there.
They're only human, they're going to make mistakes though. But
Engels, diagonal ball towards Trezeguet, who leaps and stretches to try and control it, can't do it, and the ball goes behind for the Everton goal kick. Villa 1, Everton 0. But that's it, isn't it? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think Duncan Ferguson, part of the coaching staff at Everton, very impressed with him towards the end of the last season, and he said, right, you are going to be our main man up front at the start of the season. But he doesn't take his chances like that. Moise Keane, who they've signed from Juventus, who I know is very raw and very young, and you just wonder whether, you know, he might get his start. So I wonder whether he might even start tonight, you know. I
actually thought he was going to, given, and like you said, he's raw. He came off the bench at the weekend and he had chances, and he should have been more clinical in that, but you kind of accept that given you know that he's so raw. But I would have thought he would have been more problematic for the Villa's back line as opposed to Calvert-Lewin tonight. And I sound like I'm being very, very critical of Calvert-Lewin. He's a good player, but I was more impressed with Moise Keane from the weekend, and I would think he will make an addition, you know, as the second half progresses.
I'm convinced we will see him in the second half for Everton. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live. Villa 1, Everton 0. Wesley with the goal. Hotter now with the back heel. Lovely. Gilbert on the run. He's going to skin Mina for pace. Low ball in, too close to Pickford, and he's able to grab it on the bounce.
And again, that's why he's in the team. That pace, that blistering pace that El Mohammadi didn't have in the first 2 games.
Trezeguet's barged into Coleman. The free kick's gone against him. The Villa fans are supporting their man. That was a foul, wasn't it, Karen?
Yeah, it was a foul. Yeah. You know, I think Trezeguet knows it as well. I think he's still frustrated from the earlier play, but yeah, it was a foul. First time I've seen Trezeguet close up in the flesh. He's obviously called Trezeguet because a coach of his, when he was a young player at Al Ahly, thought he looked like David Trezeguet, and I'm just trying to see how much. I can definitely see a resemblance. Real name is Mahmoud Hassan, but it was this coach who called him Trezeguet, and now that is the name he wears on the back of his Aston Villa shirt. He wants the ball now. Mings clears it, can't find him. Coleman intercepts. Andre Gomez controls to Schneidlin. Gomez almost loses it. Wesley, lovely ball round the corner to McGinn, who looks up and sees Hotter in the middle. McGinn lays it back to Wesley. Grealish on his right. Grealish hits it. Flying block from Mina. The ball spins loose in the box and Pickford comes sliding out and grabs it. It's great play by Wesley there. He just, when the ball goes into him, he just secures it, and he's actually played a lovely little through ball round the corner into McGinn. And that's where they played. Nice little play around the edge of the 18. Patient again, Wesley to Grealish, who just got his shot blocked off. Again, that's where Villa are at their best, when they're playing football, when they're getting the ball down, as opposed to, like I keep repeatedly saying, but when they go back to front, it's not their best. When they're around the 18-yard box and getting those technical players involved, it's hard for Everton to defend.
Everton have lost it on the right. Mings taking no prisoners, just swung a left foot at it, cleared it first time. Calvert-Lewin's got a great leap on him, wins another header. Engels is able to clear. Grealish gets on the ball to McGinn. Lovely first time pass to Wesley on the halfway line. Grealish under pressure, but he just took that so well, cushioned it, caressed the pass. Villa are coming forward again. Gilbert, the right back, unleashes from the edge of the box and hits his shot high and wide and behind for the goal kick. And Hotter's standing out there on the right saying, oh, it's free.
Well, Hotter was with him. It was 2v1 attacking down that right hand side, but the Everton line just backed off, and he just thought he could have the shot. You know, his adrenaline's high. He's been playing superb this first half, but it was the wrong option. He should have played Hotter in, but you can't blame him for having a shot when Everton back off.
Confidence is up, and Gilbert, who Dean Smith said before the game was really impressed in pre-season. El Mohammadi was the man in possession at the end of last season, but he certainly made a difference so far this evening, playing the part in the opening goal. Here's Sigurdsson, has to stretch to control it, keeps it away from Douglas Luiz, dribbling, tackled by McGinn. Douglas Luiz almost caught in possession on the edge of the box. His clearance is half blocked. Coleman has it on the right for Everton. Gomez's ball in. Mings off his shin. The ball goes high up in the air into the Villa left back position. Richarlison and Trezeguet pushing and shoving and battling for the bouncing ball. And it goes out for an Everton throw on the right. 8 minutes left in the first half. Villa looking for their first points of the season. Richarlison plays the ball back towards Coleman. Neil Taylor steps in, knocks it out for another Everton throw. They've taken that quickly. Sigurdsson down the line to Coleman. Coleman gets his cross into the near post. Mings has really long legs. He stretches them out, clears, headed away by Taylor, and the ball is out for a throw-in for Everton deep on that right-hand side. Coleman into Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson away from Douglas Luiz, who sticks to his task, gets a foot in. Another throw for Everton. This is tenacious defending from Aston Villa at the moment, defending that 1-0 lead. Everton just take a breather, have a rethink. Seamus Coleman with the ball in hands. Richarlison down by the byline for him. This throw in on the right, just 5 yards short of that Villa byline, in towards Gomez. Closed down by McGinn. Last touch off Gomez. Big cheers from the Villa fans. And it's a Villa throw. And they've defended stoutly there, Karen Carney.
They've got something to defend and hold on to now, and as soon as that goal went in, the confidence of the team, both in and out of possession, just went through the roof. You know, defensively they're fighting onto it, they're holding onto it. They want their home fans to see how hard they're working to get their points on the board tonight. So they've been since the goal, they've been superb.
Mings steps in and wins a header, only as far as Schneidlin, 40 yards out. Schneidlin looks back rather than forward. The frustration of the Everton fans. Yerry Mina, a massive Colombian centre-back, gives it and gets it back from Dean, and Everton work it to the right-hand side to Andre Gomez in his bright yellow boots. Villa just sitting off here, happy to let Everton have it there, and Mina runs forward into empty space just inside the Villa half, but he stops in his tracks, turns and comes back to Michael Keane. Keane looking for an option ahead of him. Gomez just inside him. Gomez with a pacey first-time ball. Finds Coleman. Coleman low pass in to the edge of the box. Richarlison on the turn. Beats a couple of tackles. Finds Coleman again. Taylor's down to block the low cross from Coleman. Coleman retrieves the rebound. Wants support from Gomez. Gomez with his right foot gets that all wrong. He was looking to whip that ball into the far post, just like Kevin De Bruyne did for Raheem Sterling for that headed goal against Tottenham, and he's just smashed the ball out of play.
Yeah, he was trying to do what De Bruyne did, but the quality wasn't there, I'm afraid. But what Everton are doing is they're trying to overload down Taylor's side. They obviously seen in the scouting report before the game that we're going to go down and try and get through Richarlison and Coleman and really go at the left back of Aston Villa, and that's where they keep trying to attack down that side, and they just need that end quality to be a lot better if they're going to really get back into this game.
5 minutes left in the first half. Goal scorer Wesley gets up to win a header. Everton have it back inside their own half. Sigurdsson, little trick, gets him past McGinn, who stretched out a left leg to try and tackle him. Everton can build from the back again inside their own half with Michael Keane. Keane gives it to Mina. Mina fires a low pass to Dean. Dean looking for the run of Bernard. Bernard's got away from Hotter here. Bernard's cutback is not a good one though. Engels is there and able to intercept, and here come Villa on the counter. Grealish in a lot of space on the right hand side. Grealish looking to find Trezeguet with the pass. It's blocked. Back to Grealish. Mina in with the challenge. Everton have it back. Gomez looks up, sees Dean in space. Luca Dean on the left gives it straight back to Andre Gomez. Seamus Coleman comes steaming up on the outside on the right. 4 minutes left in the first half. Been pretty end-to-end actually. Richarlison on the run, tried to knock it past Taylor, collect it the other side. Neil Taylor alive to that, managed to block it, chance to clear with his left foot, sweeps it away. Wesley brings it down on his thigh, nicely done. Good centre-forward hold-up play, laid off to Grealish and on to Douglas Luiz. Luiz has Coleman behind him, Coleman's tripped him, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
He just got nudged in the back there, Luiz, from Coleman. He was running at pace. Just that one little touch, slightest of touches actually, but it was enough. It's clever from Luiz because he knew he didn't have that much support with him. He just felt a little bit of contact and he thought, I'm going to take the foul, kill the momentum, and we'll take the free kick.
Just remember, by the way, Wesley scored the goal tonight. My 7-year-old son Rory was about to take Wesley out of his fantasy team today, and he should thank his dad for telling him not to do that, because he's bagged him a few points. My 7-year-old son is actually ahead of me in fantasy football as well, and I shouldn't probably broadcast that on national radio, but I have done. Grealish with his right foot towards the far post. Yerry Mina up to win the header. Does so for Everton. Gomez down the left-hand side. Bernard looking for the run of Dean, covered by Gilbert. Gilbert slides in. The tackle turned into a pass for Hotter. Hotter knocks it into the legs of Gomez, and Aston Villa win the throw. And every little tackle that's won, or pass that finds its man, or anything in the game that is going Aston Villa's way, is getting cheered to the rooftops. Wesley strong here against Mina, smashes across in on the half volley from the right, over the head of everyone, and out for a throw-in to Everton in their right back position. So we've got 2.5 minutes left of the first half. Little red tinge to the sky has now disappeared. Oh, Yerry Mina and Wesley, tell you what, that would be a cracking heavyweight boxing battle, wouldn't it? Two massive men there, eyeball to eyeball, enjoying the physical challenge and just having a little word with each other as well. Wesley coming out on top so far with the goal, and we're waiting for something here at the moment. Seamus Coleman's got the ball under his arm. We're not looking at anything on VAR. I think Michael Oliver just wanted a word with the pair of them. Michael Oliver actually standing there like the boxing referee, Karen. He's probably about a foot shorter than both of them. He's looking up at them going, oh, you two, cut it out.
Well, Pickford's just had a word with Mina as well, as is to say, look, there's 2 minutes before half-time. Don't do anything stupid. We're still in the game. Don't get involved. Yeah. Just play the game.
Pickford has the ball, bowls it out underarm. Yerry Mina's going to get the boos from the Villa fans for his little part in that. Mina to his left finds Dean. Dean to Gomez. Again, Villa fans enjoying the pantomime booing of Yerry Mina. He's frustrated because he wants options further up the field. They've gone right Everton to Coleman, into the feet of Calvert-Lewin. McGinn had a feeling that was a difficult ball to control. Gets in, wins it. He was fouled, and then a quick free kick again for Villa. Might turn into something promising because Trezeguet's got it on the left-hand side. Wesley's waiting in the middle. Ball is played back to Grealish. Goes for the curler. It's wide. Bounces a good few yards wide of Jordan Pickford's goal. Probably worth the hit though.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the quality that Grealish has got. But again, Everton switching off from a quick free kick and on play, balling behind into Trezeguet, cuts it to Grealish, who comes in onto his right foot, chops it and tries to curl it past Pickford, but just off target. But definitely worth the try with his standards of play and his quality.
3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Marco Silva getting annoyed. He was just telling his Everton team what he wanted to do there, and he then watches Michael Keane, I think it was, just knock the ball straight out of play, and he chunters away to himself.
Everton need half-time, you know. They need a little rethink, little chat to each other, sorting it out. They're not out of the game, it's only 1-0, but they seem to have lost a little bit of confidence. They need to get in and regroup.
Neil Taylor's throw. Wesley jumps, the ball was slightly over him. Wesley gets another chance here. 2 Everton players on him like a flash. Grealish gets a little nudge, stumbles, is able to keep going. Wesley's down in front of us. Something happened off the ball there which I didn't quite see, but plays continue. The Villa fans getting excited about it. We're into added time at the end of the first half. More reaction to the third test at Headingley on the way at half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The thoughts of England's batting coach Graham Thorpe after England bowled out for 67 today, so that'll certainly be worth listening to. The ball's back with Jordan Pickford, who's not had a save to make. There's the one-on-one. It wasn't even a one-on-one. Wesley got in on the angle. Pickford came down to cut the angles, got in position, and Wesley rolled it past him into the bottom corner and took his first goal for Villa extremely well. Can Everton respond late in the first half? No. Play broken up inside the Villa half. McGinn is busy again, running across the Villa half. Plays it back to Mings. Mings to Taylor. To McGinn. McGinn turns away from Sigurdsson. Curls his pass down the left. Offside flag stays down. Clever run from Trezeguet. Just bent away from Seamus Coleman there and popped up behind him. Can Villa find a second just before half-time? Wesley starts to make a run in the box. Trezeguet plays a little 1-2 with Grealish. 3 Everton defenders with him. I think he might try and win the corner here into the boots of Coleman. He knocks it and the ball is behind, I think. No, assistant referee says no. Schneiderlin's hooked the ball away with his left foot. Grealish battling hard with Richarlison. Wins that battle as well. Mings is there for Villa on the halfway line. Played back to Engels. And Villa in control at the end of this first half. Taylor's low cross beats everyone. Behind Wesley, behind Hotter. And Dean is able to bring it away for Everton. A lot of space for him to run into down that left-hand side, but inside his own half. Cross to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson in the centre circle is going to shoot. He's going to shoot from 60 yards because he says he didn't have another option. Time was running out. I might as well go for goal, and he's knocked it straight into the arms of Tom Heaton. Would have been some equaliser if he'd pulled it off. Yeah, but I'm not sure it was ever going to go in. He should have just played it, but I think that summed up Everton's last 20 minutes of that first half. They need to get in now and regroup. Karen Carney with us on 5 Live. We have seen Wesley's first goal for Aston Villa. He took it brilliantly, and it was quick thinking from the skipper Jack Grealish. He won a quick free kick. Gilbert was on the same page. The right back who's been brought in tonight for his debut. They worked it brilliantly down the right. Wesley buried it into the bottom corner, and Darren, you can hear what that means to the Villa fans at half-time, because the half-time score at Villa Park is Villa 1, Everton 0. Thank you. Villa 1, Everton 0. Everton all in blue. White numbers on their backs. Aston Villa in the claret and blue, playing towards the Holt end in the second half. Wesley with the goal in the first half, his first for the club. Everton already have 3 of their substitutes warming up. The 3 attacking players, Karen, you picked out right at the start of the game: Walcott, Keane, Iwobi. And they would be the 3, like I said, I would bring on, because I would get pace running at the Villa back line. One's on a yellow card. Gilbert is on a yellow card. We've already seen Mings is not 100% fit, and Engels has got a knock in the first half. So get pace at them, put them under pressure, and if I was Everton, they'd be my 3, and they'd be on quite quick. Here's a forthright view from Don Hutchison on social media that's just been put in front of me. He says Everton have made Villa look good tonight. The front 4 have done zilch. Wow. Minute into the second half, Villa 1, Everton 0. Next break in play, I will remind you of the 2 starting 11s for the game. Frederick Gilbert has come in for Aston Villa at right back tonight. Had a good game. He is on a yellow card. Got to be a little bit careful. Hotter as well, actually, who's come in for his first start for Villa, having joined from Birmingham in the summer. Both players down that right-hand side have worked well. Everton are on the ball. Yerry Mina has it inside his own half. Good pass, finds Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson through here to Calvert-Lewin. The ball just caught him on the heel there as he was trying to let it go by him and onto his left foot so he could attempt the finish, and Aston Villa have managed to clear. Trezeguet knocks it out of play, and that's a throw-in for Everton. Villa have Tom Heaton in goal, Gilbert at right back, Neil Taylor at left back, Engels and Mings the 2 centre backs, Douglas Luiz sitting, John McGinn and Jack Grealish either side of him, Hotter and Trezeguet wide in support of the big Brazilian Wesley. Gilbert onto Grealish in the centre circle, right in the middle of Villa Park. Cracking atmosphere inside the stadium tonight, looking for their first points of the season. Luca Dean heads the ball away for Everton. Bernard looking for Calvert-Lewin. Douglas Luiz just a little late with the challenge. Calvert-Lewin just got to the ball first, knocked him over. Calvert-Lewin stays down. Free kick Everton. Here's their team. Pickford in goal. Coleman, Keane, Mina and Dean. That rings very nicely, doesn't it, as a back 4. Schneiderlin and Gomez in front of them. Richarlison on the right, Bernard on the left, and Gylfi Sigurdsson in the hole in behind Calvert-Lewin. But how long will it be until Marco Silva throws some others into the action? Richarlison to Coleman on the right, down by the byline. High hanging cross to the back post, and Bernard rather foolishly climbs all over the back of Gilbert. And Aston Villa have the free kick. Villa 1, Everton 0. But it's true, isn't it, Karen? Everton sort of, after a promising start, kind of lost their way a bit, didn't they? I mean, as an attacking force, offered very little in the sort of last half hour of the first half. Calvert-Lewin with that one chance, which he should have scored, actually, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely. He had to just hit it left or right of the goalkeeper, and it was in, but he hit it straight at, and that's the issue with Calvert-Lewin this season. Well, last season as well. But
there's still a long way to go. You know, it's only the third game, and Everton very much in the game, still at 1-0. But they've come out the second half a lot more positive, a bit more energy, a bit more impetus, and they definitely need to go a little bit more aggressive in the second half.
Mings playing the ball across the back to Bjorn Engels. No sort of sign of that groin problem that seemed to be troubling him in the warm-up resurfacing as yet. That was spotted very early on by Karen Carney. We wondered whether Esri Konsa might get a debut for Aston Villa, but Mings is still out there in the centre of that Villa defence. Everton playing keep ball just inside the Villa half. Andre Gomez, signed permanently from Barcelona this summer, has fired the ball diagonally but straight out of play, and then he sort of throws his arm up dismissively to Seamus Coleman and says, well, you're supposed to be on the end of that, 20 yards further forward. 4 minutes gone in the second half. First of 4 Premier League commentaries here on 5 Live over the weekend. 3 o'clock tomorrow, Manchester United against Crystal Palace with Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle. Then into Sports Report at 5 o'clock. Chris Sutton and I taking the calls on 6:06 from 6 o'clock. 5 Live Premier League Sunday as a double header of Bournemouth Manchester City kicking off at 2 and Tottenham Newcastle at 4:30. Robbie Savage and Emma Saunders taking the calls on 6:06 on Sunday night. Hotter to Gilbert. Gilbert's cross blocked by Dean and out for a throw-in to Aston Villa. It does feel like there's more goals in the game, actually, Karen.
Yeah, and Villa look promising. They get the ball into Wesley, and he's so good at holding it up and bringing others into play. And then Villa are like the Alamo. They just run. Gilbert again with his pace. They just run because they trust that Wesley's going to find them and he's going to link up with them.
Hotter with a bit of trickery down by the corner flag on the right-hand side. He's lost it. Tugged Bernard back. Flag went up. Michael Oliver thought about playing the advantage. And then as Bernard whacked it away to no one, Everton get themselves the free kick. Aston Villa in no hurry to get the ball back for them, and why should they? So Richarlison has to go sprinting downfield to go and collect it and knock it all the way back down into the Everton half. Mina with the free kick. On air here on 5 Live through until 10:30 tonight. Henry Winter of the Times is going to join us after full time as we chew over what's happened this evening. Look ahead to the weekend fixtures as well. Header away from Gilbert, pushing the back on him. Free kick for Aston Villa, and Villa will be very happy here just to break up the rhythm and take their time and slow things down and just frustrate Everton.
Well, that's the word I was just about to use. Everton are frustrated. You know, Gomez has given the ball away. Mina's playing balls that probably aren't really on. They're a bit flustered at the moment, so maybe why the changes might be good, just to give them a bit of a new direction. There's nothing drastically wrong. They just need to calm down and remember what they're good at.
Not the best tackle that on Wesley, who's gone down and stayed down. Challenge came from Calvert-Lewin. Michael Oliver, I think, has spotted it and has allowed play to go on. He may come back and have a word with Calvert-Lewin or even stick him in the book. McGinn's knocked the ball out of play, and it will be a yellow card. He was in hard and caught him. Calvert-Lewin's complaining. I guess we'll have another look, Karen. You can tell me what you think. I mean, you will have been on the end of plenty of these sort of challenges, will it?
Well, I think Calvert-Lewin, the ball went up to him and he didn't hold it up and it went loose, and he's gone hunting for it and he's gone studs up on Wesley, but Wesley's also done the same, but Wesley was the one that went down.
Yeah, the funny thing there was Calvert-Lewin slid him with studs up but got the ball, and then Wesley trod on his foot. Wesley went down hurt and Calvert-Lewin's got booked, and I'm now actually on Calvert-Lewin's side. I think he's got a little bit unlucky there, unless we're booking him for sort of the intent of...
I think the intent, he went in because the ball was played up to him, and this is what's happened. It's ran away from him and he's gone then to try and get it back, and he's probably looked more aggressive than actually what it was, and it wasn't that bad. Right,
here's the little game we're going to play then, Karen, in the second half. What minute is Marco Silva going to bring Moise Keane on for Calvert-Lewin? Well, it might not be for Calvert-Lewin, but I'm going to go, what are we now? We are 52 minutes in. I'm going to go before the hour mark. I'm going 58 minutes. Moise Keane's coming on. You?
I'll go the usual way everyone seems to make a sub, 60.
60, okay.
that number is like, that's the time, and you're like,
I'll tell you, where I've gone wrong there is anything beyond 60 is your win. So I've basically only got 5 minutes left to try and win this game. Villa leading Everton 1-0. Dean, left-hand side for Everton. Hotter right in front of him. Inside the Villa half, this Yerry Mina is forward, just rolls a pass to Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin to Bernard, who's come looking for the ball here in a central position. Back to Schneiderlin, just outside the centre circle. Sigurdsson pops up in a little bit of space outside the box. Finds Dean with the pass. Dean down the line towards Gomez. Gomez's cross pulled back in, blocked by Engels at the near post, and behind for an Everton corner.
It's good by Everton. They were patient in the build-up, and what they've done, they've looked for Sigurdsson. He's that playmaker, and then he found it in a space where no one picked him up, and he's turned and played a good through ball out wide, and the ball was boxed out for a corner.
Sigurdsson had made a nice run there, and he was a bit frustrated Dean didn't deliver. Dean is now curling that corner into the far post. Mina's up, heads it over the bar. Good climb, just couldn't get that header down, and it's behind for the goal kick. And if Calvert-Lewin isn't going to score the goals, the likes of Sigurdsson, Karen got 13 in the Premier League last season, Richarlison managed 13 as well. I mean, their contribution becomes even more vital if you've not got a centre forward who's going to bang you in 15 or 20.
Yeah, and to be fair to Calvert-Lewin, he's isolated a lot of the time because of the way that Everton play, and you're right, Sigurdsson is that 10 player, that extra centre midfielder that can go into forward positions when they play 4-3-3. So he has to chip in more. He has to support Calvert-Lewin a lot more than he is at the moment.
Grealish goes down, gets a free kick. Andre Gomez with the challenge on him. Richarlison is, well, not even a yard away. He's just trying to stop Grealish taking that quickly. If Everton had done that in the first half, then they probably wouldn't be a goal down, because that's how the goal came. The three Everton subs still warming up in front of us. Theo Walcott, now 30 years old, in his bright pink boots, famously scored a goal against Aston Villa in the FA Cup final in 2015 when Arsenal thumped them 4-0. Alex Iwobi getting ready to make an Everton debut if he does get on this evening. And Moise Kean, this very exciting 19-year-old signed from Juventus. Ball is out for another throw. Marco Silva's contemplating the change. The countdown is on. 55 and a half minutes gone. Schneiderlin comes all the way back to Jordan Pickford. We need to see more from Everton in an attacking sense here as Pickford goes long. Bernard's never going to win that in the air. McGinn challenged by Luca Dean. Fouled by Luca Dean. And it's a free kick to Aston Villa. And Douglas Luiz, who is the easiest man to pick out as a commentator, with the really sort of thick braided hair, but every alternate braid looked like it's been painted almost by the groundsman at the pitch, with like white lines right down the middle of his head. Playing in central midfield for Villa. Engels being closed down by Sigurdsson. Villa on the ball inside their own half. Gilbert gets away from Bernard, floats a little ball through to Wesley, and Pickford's got to come out to the edge of his box, and it just wasn't getting there quick enough for him. Eventually it bounces into his arms. Rolls it out to Mina to Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin wide to Luca Dean. Now a couple of the Aston Villa subs come out to go through their warm-up routines. And Andre Gomez on the ball for Everton. Dean on the left-hand side to little Bernard with the heavily tattooed arms, scorer of Everton's only goal so far this season in that 1-0 win against Watford last weekend. Sigurdsson wide to Coleman. Villa seem to have it covered at the moment. Richarlison on the ball on the right-hand side, and Neil Taylor just stands off him, jockeying for position. Ball comes back, it's crossed into the area. Mings, good meaty volley away. Lovely first touch from Wesley. Kills it stone dead, moves away from Michael Keane and lays it off to Hotter. And now Gilbert is away, sprinting down the right-hand side, giving an option to Hotter. Hotter not going to use him. Left-footed ball, just trying to thread one through. Couldn't get it through, but Hotter gets it back because Gilbert's won the challenge. And then Hotter is fouled by Andre Gomez. And it's a free kick for Aston Villa.
Gilbert has been unbelievable tonight with his off-the-ball running. And when you talk about off-the-ball, he's making Hotter look good, because when Hotter's dribbling, Gilbert's absolutely full steam running at the Everton back line, and it's making them drop, and it gives Hotter time to make good passes. And Gilbert's been so key, and he's really took his opportunity tonight, and he hasn't let Dean Smith down.
Epitome of the modern fullback, Karen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Free kick Villa, they wanted to take it quickly. Sigurdsson stood in front of that, so clearly the message has gone out from Marco Silva, no more quick free kicks. Grealish floats it high towards the back post, not it down by Mings, almost into the path of Wesley, and Pickford runs out and grabs it. And the Everton defenders for a second there just seem to be standing still and watching that play out. Sigurdsson's pass forward is blocked by Grealish. Mina clears. John McGinn is onto it quickly for Villa. Opportunity, running at Mina, slides his pass in almost back to Grealish. Andre Gomez is there to intercept. Plays the 1-2. Douglas Luiz comes charging in and knocks the ball out of play. 58 minutes on the clock. Marco, what are you doing? You've got to get him on. You've got to get him on. I'm going to lose. Karen's going to win. Double points if he comes. Oh, look, here we go. It's going to be on 60, Karen. It's going to be bang on 60.
I don't know why managers do it. It's like that golden minute, 60, get them on. No sooner, no later. I never understood it as a player.
No, I'd very much be a 58 man. I think. Mina back to Pickford. Pickford clears with the left foot. What a noise inside Villa Park. Really enjoying their evening's entertainment so far. Villa 1, Everton 0. I think it's going to be a double change as well, actually, Karen. I think Iwobi might be coming on for his Everton debut as well. I think I saw the pair of them getting ready to go. Andre Gomez is starting to tot up a few fouls here, so I just wonder whether he might be quite close to a yellow card. Alex Iwobi is the first to emerge from the dugout for Everton, number 17 on his back. Everton have paid an initial £28 million for the 23-year-old, and that fee could rise to 34 million. Big money, big things expected. Grealish curling another ball into that far post. Again, it's Mings attacking it. Again, it comes off Mings, and Pickford is able to grab it first. Rolls it out to Seamus Coleman. 60 minutes coming right now. I mean, if the ball was out of play, if they had a choice, it would have been bang on 60 minutes. So I'm going to have to come up with another game in the last half hour that I can actually try and win. Ball is bouncing inside the Villa penalty area, lofted forward. That's no good for Everton. And Tom Heaton grabs it and clutches it to his chest. So Marco Silva giving Moise Keane some very detailed instructions as well. I'm really looking forward to watching him live, because I've seen the footage and I've watched some of the Serie A stuff, and you think, wow, he looks exciting, but it's a real difference, isn't it, Karen, when you're watching someone live under the lights for the first time in a stadium like this.
Absolutely, and I think, like we said, he's just so raw. He's probably not clinical enough, but he's young and you can develop that. But his positioning, his strength, he's going to cause a problem. He's probably going to do what Wesley for Aston Villa's done to Everton tonight, and he needs to go on and just make an impact and make things really difficult, because I think Engels and Mings have had it quite easy tonight. He needs to go in there and just ruffle a few feathers up and cause problems.
61st minute then, the double change. Sigurdsson and Bernard off. Iwobi and Moise Keane come on, and Luca Dean is having a long chat to Moise Keane as well, and he runs on with a real purpose. He's powerfully built as well, just 19 years old, but a real unit. So Calvert-Lewin and Keane, well, we'll have to see how they play it, won't we, Karen, from here. Sigurdsson off in that number 10 role. Iwobi sort of stationed himself there. Aston Villa leading Everton 1-0. And this should spice things up a little bit. Iwobi trying to get on the ball, strong against Gilbert, holds him off. And throw-in goes Aston Villa's way, and Iwobi looks shocked and dismayed. So throw-in for Villa on the right.
I like how Marcus Silva's actually gone, you know what, we need a goal, 2 centre forwards.
Yep.
No faffing around, he's changed the formation. He's dropped Sigurdsson a little bit deeper, and he's gone for it, and I think you have to, and I think Calvert-Lewin needed just that little bit of support. Yeah,
so Calvert-Lewin and Keane kind of through the middle, Richarlison on the right, Iwobi on the left, with that central midfield to a Schneiderlin and Andre Gomez. Yeah. But there we are. So it's positive. It has to be positive. They haven't really looked like scoring. Everton have won themselves a free kick, and they've just got to try and build themselves up ahead of steam. Villa 1, Everton 0. Karen Carney with us here on 5 Live tonight, having retired from the game after the World Cup this summer, but has won pretty much everything in the game. With the likes of Chelsea, the famous FA Cup win with Birmingham, the quadruple with Arsenal as well. And here's Andre Gomez on the ball for Everton. Plays at the Schneiderlin. Very ponderous at the moment. Schneiderlin tries to speed things up. Digs his right foot underneath it and floats the pass out to the right. Coleman controls it. Gets away from Neil Taylor. Taylor did well because he stuck with him, got a foot in and wins the ball. Mings passes out of defence, he's lost it for Villa. Here's Iwobi through the middle to Keane. Keane can't control it, it's in the arms of Heat, and here's Karen.
And you straight away see that going with the pace of this front four now, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Iwobi and Moise Keane, even if they lose the ball, straight away they're hunting, they're round it. How quickly can we win it back? We're going to force Aston Villa into a mistake. And straight away they're pressing, they're being more aggressive from the front, which is good. It's what Everton need to do.
Grealish on the ball for Aston Villa. Has it at his right foot, tied to his right foot, calling players towards him like Gilbert. He gives it to Gilbert. On to Hotter. Hotter being forced back to the halfway line by Dean for Everton. Douglas Luiz with a short pass to Hotter, tries to take it past Gomez. Good skills, slippery stuff down the right hand side. Hotter gets it back again and just trying to slide one through for Wesley, blocked by Mina. Mina plays it to his left. Iwobi's going to try and use his pace and strength to get down that left hand side. He's done well. He's released Moise Keane, and Moise Keane is puffing and panting and running hard here. Couple of step overs into the box, lays it back to Iwobi, working it onto that left foot. He's just forced himself a little bit wide here. Luiz stays with him. Iwobi's holding him off. Back to Andre Gomes. Schneidlin in position, 40 yards out centrally, but Villa have been able to get bodies back behind the ball. Just over 25 minutes to play. Iwobi on the left for Everton. They're 1-0 down. Good trick, beats Hotter. Low cross, Keane can't control it. Sure, the last touch came off Engel, says Michael Oliver. I thought he was going to give goal kick. He's given a corner, but immediately you can see what the plan is there, Karen, from Everton.
Yeah, Iwobi again just getting running at him, using his pace, and they're turning the back line of Aston Villa and making them run towards their own goal, which is what they didn't do for the first 60 minutes.
Corner then for Everton from the left. Luca Dean, an away swinger. Mina's up, nods it down, bounces off a couple of players behind for another corner. Everton appealing for handball. Well, if there is one, the video assistant referee will have a look. Michael Oliver's blown his whistle, and I think he's saying hold it. He's put his hand up in the air and he's saying hold it. So let's just wait and see. Michael Oliver's dealt with what he needs to, and I think he's happy for the game to restart. So Everton were looking for the handball. I don't think Michael Oliver is interested. No, we're okay. They've had a look at it back at base, I presume, and they've decided that is not worthy of a penalty. 25 minutes to go. Another corner for Everton from the right this time. In swinger from Dean, looking for Mina. Mings and Mina jump together. Potter's got to chase hard to keep this in for Villa, down by the byline on the right. No one there, though, to pick up the clearance, and Mina was alert to that and got there first. Cross comes into the area. Headed away by Gilbert. Might drop to Dean. Comes back here to Schneidlin on the halfway line for Everton, and the closer and closer Villa get to the 3 points, the nervier it's going to get around here as well, particularly if Everton continue to improve.
Well, I think Villa might need to do a sub. I think
Schneidlin forward here to Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin took it down well. Engels has played well, sticks with him and wins the tackle.
Potter's been Villa's one of the strongest star performance tonight, but he's starting to tire now, and especially when you're winning 1-0, probably get someone a bit more defensive minded and block up with this now pace that Everton have just put on. Throw in
for Everton. Everton fans you can hear opposite us at the moment inside Villa Park. Dean's throw in, flicked on by Michael Keane, straight into the gloves of Tom Heaton, who has had very little to do so far this evening for Aston Villa. Aston Villa's last Premier League win came here February 2016. They beat Norwich 2-0. That season when they went down, they lost 12 of their last 13 Premier League games. So in that context, it's definitely been a while. And of course, that stat about Jack Grealish having lost his last 20 Premier League games since May 2015. He won't be too bothered about that. He'll be very bothered about Aston Villa holding on and winning this game, or getting themselves a second and trying to put themselves out of sight. Marco Silva and Everton have other thoughts. BBC Radio 5 Live with the Premier League commentary this Friday night. Here's Andre Gomes. Curls his pass out to Dean on the left. Dean comes back to Gomes. Schneidlin's free on the right, but a long way from goal. Not threatening Villa at the moment. Grealish closes in. Grealish and McGinn just going towards those two, Schneidlin and Gomes. Hotter is tiring. Karen Carney absolutely spot on about that. Iwobi sensed it, tried to take him on, but you can see Hotter is blowing a little bit. Gomes bringing the ball forward, outside of his right foot. was thinking about the shot, decided on the pass, knocked it behind Seamus Coleman, and straight out for a throw-in to Aston Villa.
At least he's trying things though, Gomez. He's trying to make things happen. You know, the quality probably hasn't been there for his standards and his levels tonight. But at least he's trying to make things happen and move things. But Everton, if you look at them now, they were in that passage, there were 6 in a line, all on that Aston Villa back. They really are going for it now, and credit to Aston Villa, they're holding their defensive line and shape very, very well. And again, Heaton has another save to make.
Everton throw in on the right hand side. Test match special back with you 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, ball by ball commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra. Of course, throughout 5 Live Sport, we'll bringing you updates throughout our football coverage during the afternoon, as Dean plays it forward to Moise Keane, who again breaks into a sprint, collects the ball and lays it off to Schneiderlin, goes running forward, looking for it on the edge of the box. Richarlison, little bit of luck, the ball bounces back to him. Villa have won it off him. Here's Trezeguet with his right foot finds Wesley's offside, and Everton get themselves a free kick. The Test Match special podcast, I'm sure, will also be available for download right now, if you can bear listening to what was a pretty grim day for England at Headingley, already trailing 1-0 in the series, bowled out for 67. Australia start tomorrow with a 283 run lead. Here's Schneiderlin. To his right finds Seamus Coleman. Just over 20 minutes to play. Villa 1, Everton 0. Yerry Mina just took a little while to bring the ball under control. Andre Gomez, 30 yards out, chips it up to the left. Digne volleys it back in. Iwobi controls it, shoots, deflected, and it's a nice one for Heaton. Just looped up in the air, and he was able to make an easy save. But the pressure's just building a little, Karen Carney. Yeah,
it was a good ball by Gomez. Started to get his range now, his passing range out. Found Dean, who hit it on a volley straight away, and found Iwobi just around the penalty area, and it was blocked. Luiz, been superb for Villa tonight, got in the block, and Heaton thankfully caught it.
Andre Gomez heads the ball forward. Tyrone Mings comes charging in. Richarlison was caught on the knee there by someone challenging for the ball. He stayed down. I think he's going to be okay, slowly picking himself up. Hotter still on the field for Aston Villa. Just wondering when Dean Smith's going to make that change. McGinn's curling ball forwards, an absolute beauty to find Wesley. This is awkward for Mina. Mina's just forced him out the penalty area on the right hand side. Hotter's low ball behind McGinn. Douglas Luiz tries to get it. It rolls to Grealish. Villa fans expectant. Grealish just rolls a little pass down to Taylor, gets the cross wrong, massively overhits it, and the ball goes out for a throw into Everton in their left back position. Luca Dean gets ready to take, wraps the ball up in his blue Everton shirt. Marco Silva has the one more change to make. He's waving Calvert-Lewin there up the field. Get up the field, he's saying. Throw in. Moise Keane goes running towards it. Dean throws it to him, back to Dean. Dean's chip is a little bit loose. Villa have won it back. Here's Hotter on the right hand side. Dean is going to try and make up for that mistake. Hotter is under pressure, and Yerry Mina's knocked the ball off him and out for a throw in to Everton. And Marco Silva, Karen, so all three, you said you wanted to see all three. Theo Walcott's going to come on.
Yeah, I think he has to make a change. I wouldn't be surprised if Richarlison comes off and you put Theo Walcott on that side and really getting at Taylor, really using his pace and really push him back.
Taylor on the ball for Aston Villa going forward. Moise Keane, lazy challenge, has fouled him, and this could be trouble for Everton. Set piece in a lovely attacking position for Aston Villa. A couple of the corners we've seen. Tyrone Mings is the obvious target, Karen. There's been those sort of deep balls to the back post for Mings to try and get that knockdown. Wesley's another man to aim for, so if Villa can get a second, could be home and hosed.
Like you said on those earlier set plays, surprisingly, with how big Mina and Keane are, they allowed Mings to be free on 2 set plays, and arguably Mings should have done a lot better. So it's another good opportunity to put the ball in the box with Mings and Engels. Yeah, free kick from the left. Mings is waiting deep. It actually goes into the near post, not great, and it's headed away by Coleman, but the players nearest to Mings were Andre Gomez and Luca Digne, with the height of Mina and Keane positioned more centrally. Sloppy pass forward. Yerry Mina heads it away. Douglas Luiz jumps for Aston Villa. He's beaten in the air.
Just over 15 minutes to play. Good pace from Calvert-Lewin. Richarlison on the left-hand side, looking for that run of Calvert-Lewin. Just keeps that in play for Everton. Gets it back to Richarlison as well. Luca Dean looks up. Cross comes in. Unusually poor delivery from him. Grealish plays the ball out of his own half and can't find Wesley. Loose pass. A few mistakes creeping in from both teams, actually, Karen.
I think the mistakes from Everton is their anxiety to try and get back in the game, and I'd say Villa starting to get a little bit tired now. They haven't had much possession in the second half. They've been quite deep defending because of the subs that Everton have put on. So I think also Aston Villa might need to make changes to get a bit of freshness back into the legs.
Andre Gomez through the middle. That runs nicely for Iwobi. Chance to get in behind that Villa defence. They're scampering back quickly. Dinia's crossing, better ball. Mings is there first for Villa. And Villa fans warmly applauding for his efforts. Did that so many times last season as well. Marshalling that defence. You can see Mings as the major there in the middle, getting everyone up alongside him. Villa 1, Everton 0. Wesley with the goal in the first half. Heading into the last 15 minutes here on 5 Live. Iwobi wanted the run from Luca Digne. Digne should have made that run actually. Will it run out of play? Eventually it just creeps over the line. And Hotter is able to take a breather. And here comes the third Everton change. So Theo Walcott is coming on. Karen Carney, by the way, is going to be part of the football conversation with us through until 10:30 this evening. And then the 5 Live Football Daily will be available for you tomorrow via your usual podcast providers. If you've not got the BBC Sounds app, make sure you get that. Test Match Special podcast is there. 5 Live Football Daily is there. The Fantasy 606 pod with Chris Sutton and myself there as well. Another fantasy football weekend is underway. I spotted Karen, the other team in the league as well, with no Kane, no gain, which I quite liked. And I know that Karen has got Harry Kane as her captain this weekend at home against Newcastle, hoping for big points from him. Andre Gomez plays it back to Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin to Gomez. Walcott waiting to come on. Aston Villa also waiting to make their post change. Iwobi down the line to Digne. Digne stands the ball up to the far post. Well attacked. Might fall to Keane. Mings clears. Keane blocks. Heaton dives on it. Scramble in the box. He's still not got there. And it's actually gone out for a corner. That was nervy.
Yeah, it was a scramble in the box there. I think Mings tried to clear it and he just shanked it in the air and put himself under more pressure. But again, that little bit of luck that Everton need around that in the penalty area just didn't fall to him, and it went out for another corner. El Ghazi is going to be the man coming on for Villa. So as you suggested, Karen, bit of legs down that right-hand side in place of Hotter. Everton corner. I think that's Richarlison over there waiting to take it. It is with his right foot into the near post. Engels volleys it away. Of course, the Schneiderlin tries to curl one, gets underneath it, over the bar. The roars you hear are from the Villa fans celebrating the shot, which was way off target. Morgan Schneiderlin's last goal was back in March 2017, and he didn't get very close to grabbing himself another one. Jack Grealish is jogging towards the touchline here, but I think he's just coming for a drink. Hotter is coming off, as you said, Karen. El Ghazi coming on the right-hand side, but Hotter's been good. He's been very good. I've been very impressed with him. I was a bit worried at the start of the game because he hasn't got that blistering pace, so he's not an out-and-out winger. And what he's done tonight is he's played in between lines, between midfield and the back line of Everton really smartly, and he's played good little through balls. He's carried the ball well to relieve pressure for Aston Villa at times. His feet are so good, so tricky. It's hard to get the ball off him, but he's put in a shift tonight. But now it's about keeping the clean sheet as opposed to getting the second goal.
You've nailed the Everton change as well, by the way. Walcott on, Richarlison off, so good work. 13 minutes remaining in this game. Aston Villa closing in on their first points of the season. Everton were hoping to go to the top of the Premier League table tonight. To do that, they've got to score themselves a couple of goals in not too much time. Villa able to take a free kick quickly. This is how they scored in the first half. McGinn on to Grealish. Wesley on the left-hand side. McGinn's got his arm up. Wants it deep on the edge of the area. Wesley tried to beat his man and he's lost it. Douglas Luiz will get there first. Villa fans jokingly shout shoot after his brilliant curler against Bournemouth at the weekend. Everton just conceding the fouls, and they're so desperate to get that ball back. They're just leaping into a few challenges, and Villa are able to eat up the time.
But again, they're not learning from the mistakes in the first half, Everton. A simple free kick, hand on and play, and Aston Villa were running directly at the Everton back line with more numbers than the Everton players. They had an overload, but we've got to stop these free kicks and stop them playing quick, because that's where Villa look very strong.
Jack Grealish standing over the ball for Aston Villa, 10 yards inside the Everton half. Right-footed, sweeps it in towards the far post. Engels with the header across goal. Cleared away, but only as far as the edge of the box. Might drop to Engels again. Bouncing ball, flags up. Engels hooking the ball back into play, but there is an offside flag up. I know early season Premier League tables don't mean that much, but if you're an Aston Villa player, Karen, and suddenly you look at the table tomorrow morning and you're sitting in 12th with 3 points, that's a great feeling, isn't it, having been on North after the first couple of games.
But I think as a player it's positive, because I don't think they've done that bad in the first 2 games. So sometimes you feel a little bit hard done by, and getting the result here tonight potentially.
Aston Villa are trying to go quick with a free kick again. Andre Gomez got himself in the way not once, not twice, but thrice, and he's going to get booked for it. He's actually been waiting to get booked throughout this second half with a few niggly fouls as well, but it's been really noticeable that, Karen, twice in the last 5 minutes. McGinn and Grealish get to that set piece quickly, want to get it going, and actually the last one before that, McGinn just pushed him out of the way and said we're going. It's good to see that. Yeah,
well, I think what they've seen is that Everton, when they're organised, they're quite hard to break down, and when you win a free kick and they're out of shape, that's when you play, get your hand on the ball and play, and they're out of position, and that's easier for Villa to break down as opposed to the solid line that Everton usually have when they have good possession, when they're in good shape. Sorry.
Engels' free kick with his right foot, flicked on by Trezeguet, but only out of play. Karen Carney with us on 5 Live tonight, and will be part of the team on Final Score tomorrow afternoon on BBC television as the goals start flying in. 5 Live Sport tomorrow, on air from 12 o'clock, Manchester United Crystal Palace. Our 3 o'clock commentary, the fastest goal service on the radio, brought to you by Ian Dennis, our commentator, Chris Waddle alongside him. Good build-up play from Villa down the left. McGinn's got his pass just slightly wrong. Trezeguet had to go off and collect that down by the byline. Grealish into the penalty area, dribbling, lays the ball back here to the edge of the box. Iwobi's in with a challenge. Villa wanted a free kick for that challenge on Trezeguet. Not going to get it. Everton have worked it well. Calvert-Lewin spins the ball out to Moise Keane. Keane with pace and power. Gilbert jumps in, times his challenge beautifully, and knocks it out for a throw-in to Everton on the left.
You go from one end with Aston Villa, where Grealish should have took the shot. He was he's inside the penalty area, should have hit, and I think with his quality he would have hit the target. Takes his time, then Everton using their speed and try and counter-attack, but the main man tonight, Gilbert, stopped it.
Digne with the throw for Everton into the near post. Michael Keane battling with Engels. Engels has been fantastic as well, hasn't he? Alongside Mings at centre-back. Iwobi bringing it forward, thinking about the shot from 25 yards. Into the feet of Mina. Mina with a powerful layback to Gomez. Gomez wide to Walcott. 2 former Arsenal men linking up there, Walcott and Iwobi. Gomez's ball in. Keane nods it down. Iwobi might get there first. Shoots! Comes off the post, and the rebound won't fall to Mina. Mings is there for Aston Villa. Tries to get his clearance away. He's not done it just yet. Another cross in. That's a foul on Gilbert, because Moise Keane was going for an acrobatic volley, sort of bicycle kick effort on the penalty spot, but Gilbert was in the way. Keane has hoofed him in the back, and Everton so close to that equaliser, but Iwobi's shot on his debut comes bouncing back off the post, and that was good defending from Mings, Karen, just watching the rebound there, because as a defender you've got to be alert and ready. It came back to him fast and he dealt with it well.
Mings has been spot on, but Iwobi, since he's come on, he's been so key for Everton just trying to get back into this game. He actually started the move, he gave it to Keane, who's headed it back across, and Iwobi was the first person to react in that 18-yard box to go, I'm going to latch onto this second ball, head down, left-footed shot and hit the post, and Heaton's thinking, thank goodness that it hasn't gone in, and it came out and Villa managed to clear it. But Iwobi, since he's come on, has really made an impact for Everton.
Villa 1, Everton 0. Villa 8 minutes plus added time away from the first win of the season, having been beaten Tottenham at Tottenham on the opening weekend and beaten here by Bournemouth last Saturday. McGinn strides away from Schneiderlin, rolls the ball up towards Wesley. Wesley comes infield, Plays the ball across the half. El Ghazi fancies it with his right foot, and Pickford palms that powerful shot away with both hands, and the ball will go all the way out for a throw into Villa on the left-hand side. I think we're in for a rousing finish here at Villa Park. Everton have got to go for it, got to try and find the equaliser. That will open spaces up for Villa. Everton have hit the post. Villa will get nervy. I think it's going to be good.
I think there's another goal in it for sure.
Oh, let's wait and see. Trezeguet battling with Coleman on the left-hand side. He's fouled Coleman. Got some Jadon Sancho news for you. Hang on. Who's gone down off the ball there? Trezeguet and Coleman. Villa fans and Villa players don't like what's happened there. Wesley is getting very worked up. I don't know what's happened. Don't forget, with the video assistant referee involved, potential red card incidents are one of the things that can be looked at. Trezeguet is holding his face. He's also holding his right leg. Everton feel he's made a meal of it. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, Coleman tried to play the quick free kick, and Trezeguet's tried to block it, and as Coleman's kicked it, he's kicked through, and Trezeguet's gone down, and I don't know who's going to get the yellow card. Is it Trezeguet for trying to stop the quick free kick, or Coleman for potentially following through? But
Coleman's being called all the way back from the halfway line. He's got a very puzzled look on his face. He's basically saying, how on earth can I be booked? Michael Oliver's got the yellow card out, and he's shown it to Trezeguet, and he's shown it to Coleman as well. Both players get booked. Jadon Sancho news. What a start he's made to the latest Bundesliga season. Goal and an assist for tonight for Dortmund. They beat Cologne by 3-1, and Statman Dave, who of course is a regular feature on the Fantasy 606 podcast, says that Sancho's registered more assists since the start of 2018-19 than any other player across Europe's top 5 leagues, which is very, very impressive. International games are not too far away at the start of September. England with home games against Bulgaria and Kosovo. So I'm sure Gareth Southgate will be well aware of what Jadon Sancho is up to at the moment. 5 minutes remaining in the game, and Trezeguet, having been involved in the dust-up, is quite sensibly now being brought off the pitch. And this is a more defensive change now, Karen, because El Mohammadi is coming on, Trezeguet off.
Well, you've got two fullbacks now, effectively, on this right-hand side, and Mohammadi's job is just to see out the game now. Make sure Villa don't concede and get 3 points.
It's going to be a big win for Villa, of the newly promoted teams. Norwich got theirs against Newcastle. Sheffield United beaten Crystal Palace by the goal to nil. Aston Villa want theirs against Everton tonight, who hadn't conceded a goal in their first 2 games this season, but Wesley has managed one in the first half here. 4 minutes to play. Everton all in blue, have the ball on the halfway line. Real urgency about every single pass at the moment. Schneiderlin with his right foot chips one over to Seamus Coleman, now on the yellow card. Walcott comes short towards him on the right, gets his cross in, deflects up in the air off the boot of El Ghazi. It's a nice one for Heaton. He's able to come and grab it with both hands. He pats both his centre-backs on the back and says, good job, thank you for protecting me, and let's try and run this clock down. Next up in the Premier League for Villa is Crystal Palace away ahead of the international break. Next up for Everton is Wolves at home. Wolves again will be coming off the back of Europa League action, having won that first leg against Torino in the playoff round by 3-2 last night. Andre Gomez for Everton. Again, a long way out. Villa in good shape to defend it. Coleman in a bit of space on the right-hand side. Schneiderlin will use him, and Villa will funnel their way as a team across the pitch to try and close the spaces down. Walcott in the pink boots, lays it back to Coleman. Schneiderlin behind him. Moise Keane and Calvert-Lewin are waiting in the middle. Villa fans all around us, nervously biting their nails. Douglas Luiz controls the ball well inside the Villa penalty area, clears with his left foot. Michael Keane reads it well, and striding forward for Everton, stumbling forward. He was challenged. Walcott's cross in, another deflection, another kind deflection as well, because Tom Heaton was able to grab it. But Villa have defended pretty calmly, Karen.
Yeah, they haven't looked stressed, considering how much has been put on them in terms of Everton have gone with 4 forwards at times and with pure pace, and they've looked calm, and what they've done is they've protected Heaton. They've really protected him.
Ball down the left-hand side, and here is El Ghazi, who's just going to hold it up for Villa on the left. 89th minute of the game, leading 1-0. Eventually rolls his pass back to Douglas Luiz. Massive shout of man on from thousands of Villa fans. Taylor into Grealish, lovely turn from Grealish, quick Silva to the left-hand side. El Ghazi shot deflected. Pickford was in trouble, that's gone behind for a corner. Flag is up though for offside, wouldn't have counted. But Pickford was worried for a second, he obviously didn't see that. 90 seconds and then added time. And Dean Smith, well, he may look like he's in control and calm and not all that bothered, but that heart is going to be thumping very, very fast. What a job he has done, bringing Aston Villa back into the Premier League. And tonight, that first win is going to be special if they can get it. Everton, don't forget, have struck the post. Iwobi looking for Moise Keane. Mings comes in to close him down. Keane turns, gets the crossing. Walcott volleys over the bar. Great chance for the equaliser. In the 89th minute of the game, side foot volley, just got underneath it, and Walcott has his head in his hands because he knows, Karen Carney, that should have been 1-1. You've got your head in your hands.
I can't believe he's missed that opportunity. He was free, 6 yards out, and all he has to do is just hit the target. He's leaning back, he's volleying, he's gone over the bar, and he's thinking that should be 1-1. Marco Silva's fuming, sits back into the dugout because that was a moment.
We said right at the start of the night, Darren Fletcher was asking you about Everton scoring their goals this season and who was going to do that for them in terms of the forward players. Moise Keane, obviously a very exciting signing. Calvert-Lewin's been given the job at the start of the season as the main man up front. But this is the point, isn't it? I mean, got to stick him away. Calvert-Lewin, great chance in the first half, didn't do it, and Walcott's missed a sitter really there, hasn't he?
Well, he's at minimum, at bare minimum, you have to hit the target there, but that should have been a goal, should have been 1-1. And as the ball's coming into him, he was quite lazy in his approach to get the volley. Usually you can see it and you're going, get over it, make sure you're not leaning back so you actually hit the target, but he was lazy in his approach and he leant back and it's gone over the bar, and you're thinking, that's why I'm scratching my head, because that was a golden opportunity.
Not missing any play at the moment. Frederick Gilbert has been down with an injury. Looks like the left shoulder fell heavily, so he's been receiving treatment. In the meantime, the board's gone up for added time, and Villa have 5 minutes of that to see out, and they're going to do that with incredible support, spine-tingling stuff. And I know it does annoy fans of other clubs when you say it's great to have a certain club back in the Premier League, but for this ground and this atmosphere on a night like this, you know, it is good, it is enjoyable, and every club brings their own thing to the Premier League. But this is one of the great old grounds. This is one of the great old fixtures, Aston Villa against Everton, and Villa at the moment leading it 1-0. Douglas Luiz has gone down and now seems to have hurt his lower back a little, so he's just going to try and eat up a bit more time. Michael Oliver's coming over to say, look, I'm going to stop the clock here if you're going to do that. Let's get on with the game. First of 4 Premier League commentaries on their way to you on 5 Live this weekend. Manchester United Palace tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and 5 Live's Premier League Sunday as the champions Manchester City away at Bournemouth at 2 o'clock and Tottenham at home to Newcastle. Jermaine Genius will be at that one for us, having played for both of those two, of course. That one kicks off at 4:30. Robbie Savage and Emma Saunders taking the calls on 606 on Sunday night. I think I gave our 606 on Saturday a little bit of a plug in the first half, and Robbie got in touch with me and said, have you forgotten Sunday's show? So I think he was feeling a little bit left out, so I've given him a little plug there.
Oh, bless him. We'll have to say hi to Rob.
We will. Added time, 3 minutes of it left. Villa 1, Everton 0. Wesley's goal at the moment is winning the game, and El Ghazi's caught offside as Villa were just trying to play a bit of keep ball deep in Everton territory. So Jordan Pickford spins the ball out of his blue gloves. He's going to smash this downfield with his left foot. Deafening noise inside Villa Park, trying to sing their way to the finish here. Ball is volleyed forward to the edge of the box. Engels again, immense, gets up and wins the header. Nodded sideways by Michael Keane. Coleman chases, knocks the ball into the shins of El Ghazi, out for a throw into Everton. They've got to go quickly. Just 2 minutes of the added time remaining. I think we'll go a little bit beyond that as well. Can they fashion one more chance? Iwobi, who's hit the post in this half, on the turn, edge of the area, finds Luca Dean on his left-hand side. Dean tries to go down the outside. Iwobi is behind him. McGinn closes it down, almost catches Iwobi. Gomez, left-footed ball, across the face of the box. Michael Keane thought about the shot, finds Walcott. Walcott's cross comes off Louise Dean first time, half volley, way over the bar. And again, the Aston Villa fans roar in delight. No conviction in that finish whatsoever, Karen.
Again, it was really good build-up play by Everton. They were patient, made Aston Villa move, and they found a space, and Walcott's crossed it in, and Dean's come off on a post 10 yards out, half volley, and he's hit it over the bar. And the difference between the two sides tonight is just the clinicalness. Aston Villa, one chance, goal. You know, if we actually reflect on the chances that Everton have had, you know, Calvin Newman in the first half, Iwobi hitting the post, Theo Walcott and Dean then, there's just no confidence and execution in around that 18-yard box or belief, and they've had a lot of chances now, Everton, if you actually reflect on it.
1 minute of added time remaining. Everton still have the ball. They're trailing 1-0. Few draws again. Neil Taylor clears. Wesley's on his own. Got a lot of work to do here. Michael Keane is chasing him. Finally gets some support from El Mohammadi and McGinn. Grealish wants it. Grealish is in good space here. El Ghazi on the run to finish it. It's in. Aston Villa 2, Everton 0. Dean Smith and Aston Villa have their first win of this Premier League season. Their second goal in the 95th minute of the game. Their clinical finishing is told, and you can hear what that means around Villa Park. Villa are back. Villa 2, Everton 0.
Talk about counter-attacking football. It's been Everton. But tell you what, the main man, Wesley, ball was played up to him. He had no right to get there. He's made it happen. There's 3 Everton players around him. He's held it. He's patient. He's waited for Villa players to come into play. And the late run from El Ghazi comes in. I'm not sure what Gomez was doing in terms of defending, but he's come in, he's took a little touch around him, and he's just calmly slotted it into the bottom right corner, and Pickford couldn't do nothing about it.
The other thing I love about that goal, Karen, is Jack Grealish is ready and waiting to take that on, and El Ghazi is moving faster, and he knows it's his, and he gives him the shout. Grealish lets him go through. Real confidence, though, from El Ghazi to take that on and finish it. Good goal.
Good goal, and you know what? You've got to give credit to Dean Smith. The substitution to bring on. You know, he saw Hotter was tiring, and you think you bring him on to kind of see out the game, and he's gone and got you the goal to actually get you the 3 points. But again, Marco Silva must be thinking, what has gone on? We've had 4 chances clean cut, and credit to Aston Villa, gone the other end. Been clinical.
That roar tells you everything. The game is over, and Aston Villa have their first points of this Premier League season. Wesley with the goal in the first half, Anwar El Ghazi off the bench to seal the points in the 95th minute of the game. Iwobi hit the post on his debut. That could have made it 1-1. But I think actually Aston Villa in the end, Karen, deserved the win, don't they?
They did. They defended superbly, especially second half, where Everton did throw everything at them. But what I loved about the Aston Villa back line was they defended, and they tried to make it as easy for Heaton as possible. He didn't really. They protected him as best as they could, and then when they had the counter-attacking opportunities, they were ruthless and they finished them off. So first half, they rode the storm and got the goal. Second half defended well and finished them off in the 19th minute.
As I'm sure you can hear, they are in party mood here at Villa Park, and Dean Smith is right in the middle of it. The Villa boss, big smile on his face, Darren, waving to the Villa fans. They're off the mark, they're up and running. It's finished Aston Villa 2, Everton 0.